We are continuing now with our Meet the Candidates series for the 1st District congressional race. That primary is now just over a week away. Next Tuesday on September 5th, early voting, as you know, is well underway at this point. Our guest today is Cano. Sandra is a state senator from Pawtucket who also served in the city council in the city. She's a Democrat running in that crowded CD1 special election primary. Senator Cano, thank you so much for joining us in our Meet the Candidates series.
Thank you, John, for having me. This is my first time here.
Well, we're glad to have you, and we're thrilled to be able to talk to you in our Meet the Candidates series. I wanted to talk to you about Don Carlson and his endorsement of you following the aftermath of him bailing out of the race after the Channel 12 story regarding Williams College by Channel 12 and Tim White, and his complete mishandling of Channel 12's efforts to speak with him about it. Anyway, as he was announcing that he was leaving the race, he endorsed you. You initially said, yes, I accept the endorsement, but you didn't mention anything about why he was leaving the race. Then a short time later, you released another statement saying, addressing the issues related to why he left the race. I would like voters to hear from you about where you stand on this 24 hours later. A, what do you think about the endorsement? And B, do you even want the endorsement?
Thank you, John. That is a good question. I would say that I never asked for the endorsement. So earlier this month in the Roger Williams debate, Mr. Caslon said that if he wasn't in the election, he would, in fact, vote for someone in the stage, and he picked my candidacy.
Yes.
And yesterday, we were in the campaign trail while the news broke down, and I read the statement where he put a statement about me personally, so that's what I addressed, how his words were very kind, and then later on I just didn't want to speak and I wanted to make sure that I be thorough about the statement, because in fact the reporting is concerning, but I'm a person that is not going to draw conclusions without all the facts, and at the same time I wanted to make sure that I know the voters of Rhode Island that were trusting in Mr. Carson, now that he's not part of the candidacy, like know that they have a candidate here that is ready to represent them, and I hope I can earn their support.
Sabina Montos was very critical of that endorsement. In fact, she went as far to say that she would not have accepted it. What do you make of that? And how much of her criticism influenced what you ended up doing with that second statement?
So again, I didn't seek the endorsement. I want to make sure I make it clear. I wanted to say that I'm a person that even when the lieutenant governor had her own scandal, I didn't make judgment of her, because I do believe that as public elected officials, we need to be very responsible, especially when it's stories like these ones that are concerning, that we look at the effects of how we handle this type of scandals, right? And in this case, I think that there are inconclusive data that we still don't know about. Okay. So I always reset my judgment, and I do know, but I call out that it is important that we do know that I don't in any way dismiss the claims, and I also don't feel that it is appropriate for me to create judgment at the time. But it is concerning, and I demand that, and that's why I put it in a statement.
Okay. Yesterday, Aaron Regenberg circled the progressive wagons by bringing in Senator Sanders. In your experience in running for office, how much of an impact do you think that has on voters, in particular in this race on September 5th?
So John, for me, it has been a pleasure to represent the District 8 in Pawtucket and working families in Rhode Island since I got elected into public office. I came from Colombia under political asylum. This is the country that provided me absolutely everything I have, and I'm the only candidate that has the experience and the track record to do legislative policy for working families in Rhode Island, from the school committee to the city council to the state senate, currently the chair of the Senate Education Committee, and I intend to do that. No. So I do know the voters in Rhode Island know who has passed progressive value policies for working families, and that person that has the best record in this race is me.
So I understand that's an impressive resume, but do you think the impact of a Bernie Sanders endorsement will have any sway with voters on September 5th? I
think the most important thing and the best endorsement in this race is the endorsement of local elected officials, and I have been able to build a coalition, a broad coalition from Newport to Woonsocket of around 65 elected officials at every level of government, from the school committees to mayors to state senate. And also, I do believe that we need someone that is going to represent us in Congress, that is going to unify our party and not leave anyone behind. So without compromising my values, I have been able to get the support of a broad perspective of Democrats in this race. And I hope that the voters see that it takes someone that is going to bring those coalitions and get things done for Rhode Islanders in Washington, D.C.
Senator Cano, last week the AMO campaign released poll numbers that had you tied for third place with 11% of the vote, 17% behind Aaron Regenberg. Do you feel like you're 17 points behind?
So I do feel that every day, every time that I go into the campaign trail, Rhode Island and voters actually know the work that I've been doing and the reason why I want to represent them in Congress. So I do believe that it's a shame that we don't have a independent polling at this point. And I do feel that the voters of Rhode Island will tell us how they feel about the person that they should be represented by. And I do feel, in fact, that my track record, my professional and legislative experience, and doing the work that I've been doing in the communities throughout my 12 years around, I do believe that is enough for them to understand that they have someone in them that they could trust that is going to get the job done and bring the infrastructure dollars to Rhode Island that we deserve.
And you feel like, we don't have much time left, but you feel like, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, that you can get your voters and supporters to the polls on September 5th, which is huge.
Absolutely. I have run special election campaigns. I've been 8 times in the ballot during my public service role, being the top vote getter. In 2020, I was a delegate for Biden with 27,000 votes from CD1. I am confident that my team and I are going to be able to get the voters out, because this is a campaign that is important for Rhode Islanders.
Absolutely.
And we deserve representation that really care about all Rhode Islanders in Congressional District 1.
Okay, Senator Cano, thank you so much for your time. We'll end it there. Good luck to you on your campaign.
Thank you, John, for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.
Appreciate your time as well.
Thank you.